Hello gorgeous, we are back today and I have another very special high-end divinity video for you guys. So if you're new to my channel, welcome, subscribe. There are these 4 stages of consciousness that I lead women through. There's basic babe, self-aware Barbie, million-dollar babe, and high-end divinity. And so today what I want to cover is the spiritual meaning behind your weight gain and why you're unable to lose fat, or why you lose it and then keep gaining it back. So I'm going to address this with the 4 stages. If you're new to my world, I will go ahead and put a playlist or a video actually that I recently did explaining all of the 4 stages in great depth, and that way you'll get an understanding of where these stages are coming from. So if you are in the basic babe stage, this is like 97% of the human beings on the planet. These are people in kind of on autopilot, still functioning from a place of childhood wounding, haven't done their inner work, not very self-aware at all. There's a feeling of victimhood in this state. There's a feeling of powerlessness. You haven't activated your personal power. You're basically like a robot just going through the motions. And in this stage, the spiritual meaning of your weight gain is trapped emotions. And what I love about science is that science mimics spirituality. Science is a very new discipline. It's only 500 years old. You know, spirituality is ageless. So in science, what we can find, the closest proof we could find of this is when we are taking in every single day, just being humans and going through our lives, toxins and food in our environment, what the body does is to keep those toxins away from your organs, your vital organs. It uses excess fat to store those toxins. And so it's kind of like a safekeeping. It's like it's over here, safe, away from your vital organs. Well, your body does the same thing with emotions. So if you have things from the past that you haven't worked through yet, and your body is sort of protecting you in keeping those things trapped, having a couple of extra layers of fat is going to come in handy. Like, can you see the divine design? Like, I know that we've all gone through a period of like hating our fat and like not wanting it, but if you really think about it and tapping into the energy behind it, you realize that it's actually a protection mechanism, and it's actually really beautiful design. So in this, I will give you solutions. You guys know I teach everything with solutions, because what's the point of steering you all up and then like not giving you the solution of how to get out of it? We're all about the solution consciousness over here. So I'm going to go over the 4 stages, and then I'll talk about what you can do in each of these stages. Or actually, let's do it the other way around. Let's just give you, it's going to be much more streamlined if I just give you it after each one. Okay, so if you are in the basic babe stage, you're going to have to do your inner work. And I know that in life, it seems like to your subconscious, it always seems like an inappropriate time to bring up emotions and deal with them, because there's a reason that your protector kept those away from you, because it thinks that it's going to be too traumatic for you to deal with those things. So you might have excuses internally like, now's not a good time, I just got this promotion, or I just got this new job, or I just had a baby, or not right now, I'm in this new relationship, I can't bring up the crazy right now. So to the ego mind, it always seems like now is not a good time to deal with this stuff, like let's just keep it trapped in. But if you're not dealing with it, it's creating a lot of shadows within you, and it will force itself in a nasty situation where you will have to then make time to deal with it. So I know that life can be inconvenient sometimes, but my advice is to take that time to do the inner work. And yes, it gets ugly before it gets better a lot of the times, especially in the basic babe stage. But I promise you it will be worth it, because you don't want it hitting you when you are like, you know, not ready for it. So it's better to be like, okay, I'm going in, you know, I'm going to get support. I'm going to get the therapists, the mentors, the coaches, the friendships, the support that I need to get like through this, right? And so if you want to start the process in my world, I highly recommend the basic Babe bundle to start with. That's where I recommend all my students start their inner work journey. And then after that, I would move to the Sacred Feminine Intensive. Okay, start with the basic Babe bundle and then move to the Sacred Feminine Intensive. Second stage is the self-aware Barbie. So the spiritual meaning of your weight gain in the self-aware Barbie stage is fight or flight, which equals another way of saying scarcity. There is something about your internal programming that is telling you, hey, there's scarcity out there. We might as well like eat as much as we can and like conserve all of this extra fat for a famine, for a bad time, for, you know, a rainy day. But we all know in the modern world, at least, you know, if you're fortunate enough to be living in, I feel like if you're able to watch this, chances are that you don't have food scarcity, right? If you're come to this work, if you have time to do your inner work, you don't have food scarcity. But there's this illusion of it because of our internal programming and also because of our DNA wounding. You know, for millions of years, Homo sapiens lived through a really, really hard time with food. And because of that, we have this internal fear of running out of food. And the body has developed this beautiful mechanism for preserving fat, like storing fat when there is food available, and then tapping into that fat when there is no food available. So it's like an internal refrigeration or freezing system, right? But if you keep doing that every year and you're never tapping into that, that can be a big problem for many reasons. First, you are trapping, remember we talked about scientifically, we're trapping all these toxins that are not getting cycled out of your system. And this is why for those of you guys that follow me on Instagram, and I'm always posting these stories of me, you see me going through maintenance mode and then like athlete mode. Athlete mode is when I flush out the fat in my body, because with that fat goes the toxins that I've been storing, right? Now, as a woman with delicate hormones, it's not going to be healthy for me to necessarily be in ketosis all year round. That's not how I want to live my life. But 3, 4, 5 times a year, I cycle into keto, flush out the fat, get really slim and toned down, get all of that stuff out of my body, and then I can start the cycle fresh so that I am starting with a clean slate. So the solution for you, if you are in the self-aware Barbie, is you're going to have to learn to expand your nervous system and allow yourself to feel safe in your body. Not feel safe when everything's in control. Not feel safe when the bank balance is a certain way. Not feel safe when your partner is acting a certain way. But like internally being able to feel safe, okay? I have lived through this. You guys know my journey. I went through all of these stages myself. And in the self-aware Barbie stage, everything was fine, right? Like my husband was providing for me. I finally had a safe place to live after years of trauma and abuse and all of that stuff in my past. And yet I was still functioning, like my nervous system was still acting like there's a tiger chasing me, because that's all I knew, right? Like having gone through abuse since I was 5 years old, like that's what my nervous system was primed for, to expect myself to like, you know, snap my fingers and now be able to feel safe just because everything is outwardly safe for once in my life, you know, all of a sudden in my 30s, well, it doesn't know how to do that. Like that's not information that it has encoded in it, because it hasn't been doing that for the last 30 years, right? Or 25 years. So I had to learn how to be able to feel safe within myself, in my nervous system, and expand that, and then be able to really, really enjoy all of the fruits of all of my inner work. But you could have everything. Like you could be a billionaire outwardly, you could have like a full army protecting you and not feel safe internally, right? So you need to work through your internal nervous system. And what I recommend for that is my start with the 21-day End the Struggle. It's a little 21-day course where I give you these like little 2-minute, 3-minute embodiment practices. you're gonna probably hate me through a lot of it because it's the simplest stuff, but it's hard for the self-aware Barbie to do. It's think of it this way. If you have an imaginary tiger chasing you and I tell you to stop running and sit down and just breathe, well, that's gonna be hard for you because you're like, but Mina, there's a tiger chasing me. And I'm telling you, babe, there's no tiger chasing you. I just want you to sit down and take a deep breath. So those are the type of exercises that are in the 21-day and the struggle. So I highly recommend that. And I will link all of these in the description box and pin it to the first comment for you, okay? Number 3, spiritual reason for or meaning behind weight gain in the $1 Million Babe stage is hiding, numbing, guilt, shame, self-sabotage. A lot of it is coming from either ancestral wounding, karmic wounding, karmic debt that you need to pay back, witch wound stuff. So there is a deeper layer that you are now being asked for to be released. You know, in the basic babe stage, you dealt with the trapped emotions and stuff from this lifetime. Okay, in the self-aware Barbie, you dealt with the nervous system and how to expand it to be able to feel safe within yourself. Well, now your consciousness is asking for more. It's saying, wow, thank you so much for releasing all of this trauma and drama and all of this stuff from our childhood. Thank you so much for expanding our nervous system and feeling safe. And now, can we please deal with some of this karmic debt? And can we now deal with some of this ancestral coding? And so now we're being asked to release some of this deeper stuff. And I have tons of course in the $1 Million Babe like category. By the way, if you go to my website, theuniverseguru.com, there's all of those stages. The courses are listed by these stages that I'm talking about. Also on my website, you can join my mailing list. And if you need help with like karmic debt, ancestral healing, all of like witch wound, you know, hiding, shame, guilt, these things that are beyond just this lifetime, I have something really, really yummy and delicious coming for you. I'm releasing this really, really deeply healing course. It's going to be sort of like this container, and I haven't decided how many women I want in there. It's going to be very intimate. So join my mailing list for that because it's going to be first come, first serve, and we're going to spend a lot of time working through a lot of this stuff. It's my high priestess, high-end divinity healing work that's coming out. So go to my website at theuniverseguru.com and join my mailing list so that you can be the first to sign up, okay? Number 4 is high-end divinity. And so you might be thinking, well, Mina, once someone has already made the high-end divinity consciousness, why are they carrying weight? And that's exactly what I would think. I would be shocked to see all of these amazing high priestesses, high priests, like these spiritual people doing all of this amazing work on the planet with weight, because if you understand these stages, they should have worked through a lot of that, right? But as I started embodying more and more and more of the high-end divinity stage myself and doing the work, I realized what it was because I started doing it. And then when I asked for more information from my guides and my mentors, my cosmic mentors, it was revealed to me that a lot of people feel, because of, you know, past, again, it's like a deeper witch wound and being afraid of persecution and being afraid to share these divine gifts and then being told that you are, I mean, look at what's happened to prophets and saints and all of the spiritual leaders of the past. Like, they were ridiculed and they were shamed and they were, you know, a lot of times lost their positions of power. Or, you know, I've heard of so many scientists speaking out about new discoveries and then being stripped of all of their respect and everything they have been worked hard for. So we have that trauma in our past, right? So we're afraid to show up. We think people will think we're crazy or that we're now somehow speaking against either religion or society. And so what the high-end divinity person does is that it uses the fat as sort of a blanket of spiritual protection. And this started showing up in my life where every time I would make the decision that, yes, God, thank you so much for showing this to me. I'm so ready to start teaching at the high-end divinity level now, which was like what I was literally incarnated to do here as a walk-in soul, literally when I was 2 years old, right? Every time I would make that decision, I would start gaining weight. And this is really interesting because you guys know that I have such in-depth knowledge about nutrition and evolution that I have literally the entire blueprint how to lose weight. Like I can lose weight like this anytime I want to because I understand the science behind it. And yet I would start self-sabotaging. And you guys saw me going through it. You remember right after, like in 2020, I started putting on weight. That was when the message was coming down real strong. Mina, you're done with the relationship stuff. You're done with the $1 Million Babe stage. Start teaching at the High End Divinity. And all of a sudden, I start creeping on those pounds, and I gained, 8-9 pounds. And for my height, I'm a shorty. That's a lot of weight. And then I started kind of like hiding behind that weight, using it as a blanket. So what to do when you are in the High-End Divinity and using the weight as sort of like spiritual blanket, a spiritual protection mechanism. So one thing I'm going to say is I'm a very practical person, so I like to go into like taking care of it on a practical realm first. So number one thing that I did is I assigned the protection. I took that burden off of fat, and I assigned it to other things. So I said, fat, thank you so much for being this yummy, delicious, juicy blanket that I could like just feel so warm and just nourished in. And you are so relieved of this duty right now. I know you must be tired of having to keep all of this protection and the burden of all of that on your shoulders. And now I am assigning this to my angels, to guides, to my loved ones, to my ancestors, and they are going to be offering me spiritual protection now. And so I handed that over to my cosmic spiritual team and took that job away from fat. Fat on my team was no longer responsible for offering me spiritual protection. So that's the first thing I did. The second thing I did was I started doing rituals every single day instead of just when I needed them. So I started doing rituals every single day to protect my energy, to grid my energy, and every day asking for that spiritual protection, talking to my spiritual mentors, talking to my parents. They're no longer in the physical realm, they're metaphysical, and they're part of my ancestral team now. So asking them for protection. And so having that conversation as part of my daily meditation in the morning reminds my nervous system and primes me to not take that upon fat cells or anything else for that burden, okay? Now, this is not to say that, a lot of people, when they hear this kind of stuff, they think, oh, well, just learn to eat properly and just work out. And we all know what we have to do to lose weight. Like, duh. Like, we have access to all of this free information now about nutrition and all of these experts and stuff. And yet, have you noticed that even some of the experts talking about weight loss are overweight? Like, I've encountered so many amazingly brilliant scientists and doctors that have this wealth of information about what exactly to do, and then yet they're not able to do it. And the reason is because you need to address this from all different angles. And like I said, I'm a very practical person, and I like to get things done. I'm very solution oriented. I'm very cultivated in my masculine and feminine. And because of that, I like to attack the problem from all the areas. So I look at it spirituality from a psychological perspective, from what are the habits that are now a result of that spiritual belief systems and karmic debt and all the stuff going on and protection, right? And then, yes, I also do the things that I need to do. But here's the thing, even though I know exactly what to do to lose weight, like I have all of the science, okay? I know all of the stuff. When I'm spiritually not in alignment, when I'm missing things there, when I'm not working in the spiritual realm, I start gaining weight. So you need to be able to look at it from all of these different dimensions, because you are a multi-dimensional being, okay? You are not just in this one dimension here on earth, you are also in multiple spaces, multiple dimensions, multiple realms. And so you need to be able to work within all of these various realms to deal with these situations, okay? So I hope this was useful. Let me know what stage you're in. and what is the spiritual meaning behind your current weight gain. Or there's also people that are unable to put on weight, and that there's spiritual meanings behind that as well. So let me know if you would like a video on that topic. Your likes and comments have been very much greatly appreciated right now. You guys know I just switched up the algorithm of my being, and we are trying to get the YouTube algorithm to get with it and catch up. Okay, all right, so I've been really appreciating that. I love you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.